Greetings, brothers. Peace. Again, for all of you who may not know me, my name is Malcolm Jenkins, also known as Cover 2, Deuce Dog, Summer '07, Icy Io to Psy, The Ohio State University, life member 6,310, bred in the mighty 4th District, just so you know who you're talking to. But it's an honor to be here with you guys in fellowship, always around the brothers, especially with undergrads. You are the next generation of leaders that are ours, not only in representation, but in function. You will be what the things that we strive to work on, you are that future. And so anytime we get an opportunity to pour into you, to talk to you, to guide you, it's something that is not to be taken lightly, something that I take a great honor in doing and being here. And so I know this is the end of a long weekend, and so I'm gonna try not to bore you. I like things to be conversational, but if I were to leave you with one thing quickly before we get into some questions, it's just understanding the power of the collective. And you hear people talk about, the perks of membership all the time, right? There's privilege in membership. There's also power in membership, and that's something I learned coming up in this great fraternity and was able to project out onto this world. So people can look at the things that I've accomplished in my bio where I've served, played in the National Football League for 13 years. I served on the NFL Players Association's union, everything from a member at large all the way up to vice president, negotiating directly with NFL owners for the livelihoods of the 2,000 members that I stood with. Those skills that I built, I learned right here in this room as an undergraduate, being a part of a collective and understanding the power that you have in a voice, the power that you have being a part of great men. I also was able to take those same lessons when in 2016, we were looking for answers to how to address systemic racism, dealing with police brutality and things like that. Speaking to the mic, okay, got it. Is that better? I'm gonna take it out. There we go. Okay. Is that why y'all wasn't feeling me? Okay, I got it. I was like, the bros asleep today. So what I was talking about is the power of membership and being part of a collective. All of those things that I've learned being part of this fraternity. And just what, being a great man, you can do a lot of things. I've seen great men, I've been impacted by great men, but to see a group of great men do things changes the course of history. And I want you to understand that that's what the potential that we have in this room, that's what the history and the legacy of this fraternity is about. And we need to make sure that it is always at the forefront of what we are trying to do. As you look for answers, especially in today's climate, political climate, we're looking for better solutions than what's on the table. It's going to require us, especially the youth, the younger ones of us, to think of these problems more collectively, more collaboratively, and more creatively than we have in the past. All of those things through our process, through your selection and being in this room, tells me that you are qualified and ready to step into that role because our people and our communities need it most. So like I said, I don't like giving speeches. I think we're going to open this up to some questions just to be able to, give you some time to pick my brain a little bit.
All right, Brother Jenkins, we got a few questions for you. So you've had a great football career. You've also had a great career outside of football. Let's get into what some of your transferable lessons that you've gotten from football that you've been able to apply to life. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think football is really prepared me. I played football my whole life, so I only really know life through the lens of sports. And I think one of the things that I've always appreciated from learning from like the great athletes were that it was never really about talent. And when you're in a room full of people with talent, then talent means nothing, right? It's like being a great man amongst great men. In that room, being great means nothing. And so when you start to figure out, well, what separates the great from the elite, it goes back to mastering that which takes no talent. And what I've started to learn when I was around people who were really talented is that they all kind of were either lazy, undisciplined, unprepared, didn't have enthusiasm, and they relied heavily on that talent. And when they got older, or that talent got away, or more people with talent was around, they didn't hang. And so my way of sticking around was always to master those things that don't take talent. And when I look at the real world, it's the same thing. Even more so now, there's no excuse to not have knowledge when you can chat GPT something and learn about something in an instant. You can go learn a skill on the internet. You can go ask a question. Everything that you need is at your fingertips. So now the excuses to execute, to be great, to move, should be out of the window. And as long as those things, again, that require no talent, which means it costs you nothing but effort, are mastered, 9 times out of 10 you'll have success.
Definitely appreciate that. We know we like people who are not just talking about it. We like those who are gonna be about it, right? So how do you get from point A of seeing the needs of people, in particular, African American, how did you get from seeing the needs to then going and trying to meet those or mobilizing people to get to that point?
Yeah, I think that's the part of a collective, right? Is we all, sometimes I think we take our approach to changing communities the wrong way. We treat it like almost like Christmas. Like we figure out what we want to give out, we pull up to the community and drop off book bags or whatever charity we, want to give, but that community might not need book bags, right? They might need food, they might need water, something else. So the first step to trying to help a community is, one, being a part of it and understanding the needs. And then once you understand each community needs, which is different, for every community, once you understand what this community needs, then you can go into your own network and pull those particular resources. You go in to figure out, okay, which person do I know in my network of throughout the world that I know these people don't have access to that can bring these particular resources to this community. I think a lot of times we try to fit this one-size-fits-all approach, and most of the time, one size fits none. It's like we got to figure out particularly these custom plans for communities, and that's why my approach towards impact, and I think that the fraternity is set up in this way, is to have regional impact. The reason that we have national structure, but also chapters that are regional, is because you can pour into this one community continuously as we bring people into the fold, but continue to pour into those and have representation in the particular communities that we live in.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you answering those. We're gonna go into the audience real quick, pick out 2 undergrads. Any undergrads got a question? We'll go right here, and just one more.
Hello, everybody. Caleb Washington, 523 Iota Psi. One question that I had was, could you speak to your experience at Ohio State and how that formatted you to be the man that you are today?
Yeah, I talk a lot about, so I just wrote a book last year, it came out, called What Winners Won't Tell You. And in a particular chapter, I talk about my time at Ohio State, being a kid from New Jersey, being 8 hours away from home, playing in kind of a world that had a very little diversity from what I was used to, and how I found kind of my home and solace in Black student life on campus at Ohio State. And that's where I found Omega Psi Phi, and really was able to have a full college experience that a lot of my peers who only played sports, who only were athletes, who only kind of got this whitewashed side of the college experience, was totally different in how that changed who I am. And so, Iota Psi is one of those places that I believe is a special place. If you haven't visited the yard, it's got a ton of history, but also just understands the core essence of friendship, that understands the core essence, of friendship. And I learned that through my time at Ohio State, through the Iota Psi chapter.
All right. We got one more question for you.
Oh, hi, how you doing? Keith Jackson Jr., 4, Fall 23, Bay December. My one question would be, after retiring for the NFL, what are some of the works that you've done as far as like fraternity work for Omega Psi Phi? And that's pretty much the question that I have.
Yeah, most of the time, what I try to do is align the work I do with the bruhs. So, for instance, we do an event called the Get Ready Fest every year. And I move that around to everywhere I call home. So we've done it in New Orleans, Pennsylvania, and Philly, Camden, New Jersey, Columbus, Ohio. And that takes a ton of manpower. And so this is what I talk about when it comes to pooling resources. If I know a community needs food, clothing, then I'll partner with an organization that brings in enough food to feed about 4,000 families. We partner with local communities to identify families in need. And to hand out that much food to that many people requires a ton of manpower, and we always partner with the bruhs to make sure that we can get these resources to those particular communities. So the work that I do can align with the work that the bruhs are doing, and we can continue to have exponentially as much impact as we align like that.